Hey YouTube, this is Chaz here at Bowman Auto, back on the channel. Our previous video we talked about a 2020 GMC 2500 that was having some depth tank issues. We're going to quickly go over the reassembly of that. Hopefully it goes a lot faster than disassembly. I wanted to show you the problem real quick, what we found on our old unit. I got it over here draining still. So the code was for the electrical heater on the depth tank, and it said you can see, if you zoom in there, you can see the melted terminals here, and it said it's the same thing on both sides. It's going to be melted on the pump side and on the electrical connector. The good news is it's serviced all as one assembly, so when you buy one part you get it all. So we'll jump right back into the reassembly of this unit. So we've got our module that goes on top of the tank. T30 torque screws hold it on there. So to get both of those started. You got that put on there. You definitely don't want to over tighten these. You can kind of watch them as they tighten down. So like I said before, you're looking at about a $700 tank, so you definitely don't want to go through that again. So we'll get that connector put on there and make sure it clips on. You got it down and you lock your tab. That way it cannot come back apart, otherwise you're going to be dropping this tank again. So the tank itself, it sits on here this way, just like this. You can line up those holes there. So pilot holes to get everything started for you. Run over here and grab our heat shield. We'll get it put back on. Like I said, there's 8 tabs that held this heat shield on. Okay. Now we've kind of fast forward through the clip process of putting those back in. So we're going to go ahead and get it bolted back down. We got these 3 13mm bolts. Get those started. You got a strap that holds the tank in there. Slide it right over. You kind of want to make sure you get everything started by hand before you grab any power tools. Cross-threaded bolts don't go very well. Alright, so now we've got that on there. We'll go ahead and get this whole assembly set back up in there. So you can do it by yourself, but I'm going to get a hand to do it, and so we'll meet you right back over here. Alright, so here we are back underneath the truck. We got the assembly set up on the jack. We're just going to lift it up in there. If you don't have an assistant, you're probably going to have to use the jack the whole way. We got the electrical connector. Get it put over the top, and we got our fill and our vent tubes, and set our bolts that are going to hold our assembly in. So we'll go ahead and get those in there and get back to it. So that wiring harness is kind of feeds over the top, and it comes back over here where we unplugged it earlier. Get it routed the right way. And you kind of remember we just work by feel disconnecting these lines. You got to do the same thing when you reconnect them. You can hear them click in. The fill is a bigger hose, so there's no way to mix them up. So then you can go ahead and get your bolts started to hold your assembly back up in there. So it's 15mm all the way across. It'd be hard to reach up in there with your fingers, so I like to just use an electric wrench. I got a pretty good feel with this electric ratchet here, so. Trying to get a bolt started in there. Trying to get it worked back up real quick. After you get everything started there, you just don't want to just tighten everything down, then you can't get your other bolt started. So get everything started and then tighten everything down at once. So we've got all our bolts there, got our electrical connectors over the top and our fill and our vent tube in. And so this just plugged in right here earlier. Get it flipped around and plugged back in. Connector over the top and make sure you lock your tab. Take our 15 on our impact and go ahead and buzz everything tight. Tighten down, and so this electrical connector just works into a spot right here in the frame. And remember, there's this one up top that we took off too. Get that worked back in. We'll bring our light back down here so we don't lose it. And right back underneath it here. In our previous video, so we took our supply tube and we set it up here out of the way. Make sure we work it back down and hook it back up as well. You can just kind of slide that down through there. Our new tank, just take your cover off. Get it plugged in. And then up under here there's a little electrical connector as well. Get it worked back into place. You can kind of move it over the way you can get to it a little bit. Get it plugged back in. Got our pipe plugged back in. And then make sure you get these clips back in where they go. And you kind of got to work by feel there, so you can just use your fingers and feel for the holes where they were. And get it lined up and bring it over. Once you find the first one, you kind of know where the second one is. And just clip right in there. And all we got left is our brackets and our cover. And these were 13 millimeters in a T30. So we'll go ahead and start with the brackets first. So there's a nut that goes up top onto the tank itself. And then there's a bolt for the frame. Get those started on both sides. We have our 13 mil over here. And go ahead and buzz these back tight too. Now the only thing left to do underneath the truck is going to be to put this cover back on, and it was held on with a T30 torch screw. So we get it set up in there. So then we'll lower the truck down, we'll put new def in it, don't reuse your old def. You're going to have to use a capable scan tool to reprogram the def module. Like I said, if this information helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe to our page and follow for more content. Yeah,